Hi Aquarius, here is a general look at your solar chart for June 2015, and there is a creative, fiery feel for most of this month. Until the 22nd, there's a brighter, less introspective energy around, and that can manifest as more opportunities to be in the kinds of environments that you enjoy, that you can be spontaneous, leisure type environments, maybe the sorts of environments where you can play more, or even if it's a work environment, you feel as though there's lots of laughs along the way. We've got a lot of emphasis on that area for much of this month, and you could be getting together with others, but also romance is likely to be a keynote as well. It works in different ways. This is a spontaneous energy. It's an energy for socializing and maybe letting your hair down and just being just being more playful, really. However, it's also in a competitive area, and Mars is there. So Mars does like to compete. Mars likes to take its chances, take a risk, and so just be aware of that, that you don't you're not tripping over your own shoelaces or burning the candle at both ends. But there's a very, very strong creative energy despite that, a very, very strong innovative energy, and you could be busier because of you feel more competitive, you feel more enterprising, you have access to more entertainments, maybe more sort of leisure pursuits. But also this is to do with children and young ones. It's also to do with whatever it is that you are doing or can do that you get a buzz from, you enjoy. But it could indeed mean that that young person energy, that child energy, is more highlighted at this time. Mercury is also, in this area, being very innovative, playing with ideas, maybe having just more laughs, as I say, and can be more romantically expressive as well. Mercury, though, continues to be retrograde until the 11th, so romance or speculative interests could stall temporarily, or just be more more extended. So whatever's going on, you have to be more patient because it's just taking longer. Creative or promotional activities might hit an obstacle, but whatever it is, you will then get the chance to think things through and be more thorough, perhaps. And then when Mercury goes direct from the 11th, you should feel stronger, more confident, more certainty is likely to be the result. Now, until the 6th, Venus is in a very practical mood, meaning that if you collaborate with others, you're likely to get on with them reasonably well, or not too badly, whether that is like with your work, or whether it's service providers, or whether it's people you're providing a service for, or whether it's health providers. So getting that checkup, finding that you feel as though you have a rapport with the person that's helping you. And indeed, you can't have a rapport unless you both feel it, really. So there's more likely to have a reasonable interaction with these sorts of people, whether it's to do with maintenance and repairs, or whether it's to do with diet, health, exercise, and that kind of thing. But then Venus moves into a position in your solar chart which is extremely powerful. And not only that, she will be there for several months. Unusual for Venus, who usually spends 3 weeks in a sign. So from the 6th of June, Venus goes into her own house, and that's her favorite place, where it could give a tremendous boost to affairs of the heart. You could meet someone special, or if you've already feel as though you've met that someone, then this can be a very favorable time when you maybe decide to put you know, get more serious about it, but it doesn't feel serious. It feels quite fun. You and another just enjoying each other's company, whether that's in a love match or whether that's collaborating in a business sense, or whether it's to do with family or whatever. So lending each other a hand, teaming up, being the dynamic duo, but really being very, very valuing and appreciating very much each other's company. And that also is good from another aspect, which is that Jupiter is already in that area there. Cupid's bow could definitely be, shall we say, Cupid could be kind of aiming at this time and then letting that arrow fly, because this area is very, very good for your your love life in the love department. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can be also other types of relationships as well. And you are feeling more appreciated, but also appreciating somebody that is maybe way outside of your you know, the normal range, really. You've not maybe before come across a person quite like this. So you are on such a learning curve in this relationship. But I would say you're on a learning curve anyway, generally, because of the position of your ruling planet Uranus, which means that daily encounters are shifting your perception of the world quite considerably, since Uranus has been in there a few years ago. It came in there 2012, no, it was before 2012, 2010. And this has been a time of you realizing that there's more out there than you appreciated, and there are lots of different angles. And maybe if you've been quite stuck in a rut mentally, there are encounters and meetings and random events which are actually going to start waking you up, because Uranus really, really is the awakener. And this month as well, we have a really beautiful aspect going on between Jupiter and Venus and Uranus. So there could be something really quite special, really quite almost magical that's going on, which maybe was not planned. And hey presto, there it is, the rabbit out of the hat. So yeah, just watch that space and see whether that's in a relationship or whether it's to do with any number of other areas of your life. But this time now is meaning that your mind can be opened, you know, to many, many different, and you might have more access to the sorts of minds, teachers, experts, authorities in certain fields. Or it might not be like that. It might be just a different kind of mindset. And this fascinates you. So, but particularly in June, a little bit of July, there could be something that just kind of, as I say, like almost like a meteor streaking across the sky. And in astrology, which I see as sort of weather reporting, really, it's vibrational weather. We have to be in the right place at the right time with the appropriate clothing to take advantage, or the appropriate equipment actually to take advantage of that weather, like the solar panels to capture the sun for electricity, or the wind turbine to capture the wind for power as well. So it's just being, you know, being aware that the energies are there. This one is giving you enough time to really work it and work with the energy, because Jupiter is going to be there until August, and Venus is going to be there until October. Mars, well, first of all, the Sun moves. The Sun moves on the 22nd, and the Sun moves into an area which is more serious, more to do with getting the act together, getting things the practical side of all the ideas. So considering whether something needs to be checked on or maintained or fixed, or using your skills, and if you don't have that skill, then learning that skill, whether, you know, it's anything from something pretty high level in science or to changing a tire. I mean, you know, it could be anything, or using a pair of hair straighteners if you've never used them before, which, by the way, I never have. So there's lots and lots of things we all can do in order to learn new skills. But if you know there's a gap in your knowledge, then this would be a good time to do it with the Sun and Mars in there. You can get a lot done as well if you keep up, you know, with daily duties and the to-do list, but also within the employment market as a whole. You could find that collaborations with others can be useful in this area, but also you might have to be a little bit more patient with them as well, because they could, you know, you could have opinions about their performance, or about how they are lagging behind in your expectations or whatever. So it's a small price to pay, though, however, if you do get your act together in the process. And then there's Saturn. Saturn returns to the top of your solar chart into Scorpio, another fixed sign, and so that is a more dynamic and challenging angle to your Aquarian sun, or to any other planet that you have in Aquarius or a fixed sign. It can mean that you do make headway, but more slowly, in the area of career, in the area of, you know, your targets and goals in life and your general life direction, but in slow phases. And maybe it's slow, a bit quick, and then slow again. You're redefining your place in the world. And it's not just you alone, of course, but sometimes you do feel a bit alone here whenever Saturn is around. Often we feel a lack when Saturn's around, because Saturn has a kind of astringent, contracting, limiting force, which does a lot of good things, like it really does focus our minds, and we can concentrate, we can really persevere. But on the other hand, it can make us feel as though we are, you know, alone against the world, sort of thing. So this is the time of the harvest, and you will be reaping what has been sown in the past, whether that is to do with your education and your past experiences, but it can also mean to do with just what you've inherited and you came into this life with. So it is quite an important transit. Now it's gone back in there, it'll go back in there on the 14th of June and stay there until September. And you will get another chance to finish off something that you were doing before Saturn came out of there on Christmas Eve 2014, for the previous part of 2014. So maybe you are building a new structure in the area of your career, in the area of how you want to be seen in the world. Maybe you do find as though you cross swords, or rather maybe even feel blocked by authority figures or those in a position to help you to climb the ladder of success, or maybe it's not like that at all. This is the area of the parent, so it might mean that somebody who is a parent is actually seeming to stand in your way, or it might be an archetypal sort of symbolism for the parent. So this is somebody in authority anyway. But slowly, against the odds, sometimes it does feel like it's against the odds. New things are taking shape, and you can look back to the previous Saturn transit in this area if you're old enough to get the gist of what was happening then, and then you kind of get an overview of it. You Aquarians born the 21st to the 23rd of January, or 17 to the 18th of February, or with 0 to 2 degrees rising or 29 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most this forecast period. And just a mention again of Jupiter opening the way to new growth through your personal relationships, your personal working relationships or professional alliances as well. And because of these key close relationships dealing with people who are very, very different in some cases, your horizons are broadening and your mind is really, really opening up to new realities, really, and new fields of intellectual interest as well, I would say, but just on a daily basis, kind of hanging out with people who are a little bit different. You and partners, colleagues, clients and friends and family could get you thinking more expansively, and probably you will learn a lot through them. And Aquarians born the 4th to the 11th of February or with 15 to 22 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most. And that's it for June. If you know your rising sign, your moon sign, listen to those. And you can read this copy, which is up on my website for all to see. And I'll see you the next time.